Despite all of the cuts to the budget reconciliation bill that Biden conceded to in order to impress Senator Joe Manchin, a corporate Democrat who's so corrupt that he has no interest in actually passing popular policy for his constituents, Manchin has not signed on or committed to voting in favor of the bill. Again, this is after Biden has made massive concessions to the point where the reconciliation bill is a shell of what it once was. Now, a good way to summarize it was the way that this tweet was written by Lee Caldwell, a reporter with NBC. She writes, "The outstanding issues have become clear. 4 weeks paid leave, Manchin opposes." Remember, they whittled it down from 12 weeks to 4 weeks, but Manchin still opposes. Medicare vouchers for dental, Manchin opposes. Medicaid expansion, Manchin opposes. Prescription drug pricing negotiations, Sinema opposes. And of course, there's a massive debate, massive disagreement in regard to how to pay for it. Both Manchin and Sinema have been on the record countless times indicating that they will not, under any circumstance, increase taxes on corporations. So to give you some more details into what is happening right now, the United States is one of just 8 countries without national paid maternity leave. Even if Democrats were to settle on 4 weeks, which it seems like they won't even do that, of paid parental leave, the US would still lag numerous other countries. In fact, the global average for paid maternity leave is at 29 weeks, and it is 16 weeks for paid paternity leave. So it is very likely that since Manchin is against any paid leave at all, even the 4 weeks will be cut from the bill entirely. Now, activists and other Democratic lawmakers are just completely delusional about who Manchin is, thinking that he's some sort of good faith actor. And the optimism at this point is starting to grate on my nerves. I'm just keeping it real. So let me give you the specific examples that I'd like to refer to. Manchin was seen huddling with Senator Kirsten Gillibrand for several minutes outside the office of Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. Gillibrand later told reporters she is negotiating with Manchin to ensure that paid family leave stays in the bill. This is the part that really gets to me. I think he is open to this in good faith. I think he fully understands this is essential to working parents and working families all across America. But no, he doesn't care. At the end of the day, he doesn't care. He's made that abundantly clear. What he's most concerned about are his corporate donors and of course his own personal financial interests. A few more graphics because I think this is important. Advocates even are delusional about what's happening. They felt confident that 4 weeks of paid leave would make it into the final bill, especially because the provision meets Manchin's criteria for work requirements and means testing. I don't know, I feel like it's kind of a given that in order to qualify for paid leave from work, you must be working. I don't know what work requirement means in this context. It's just insane. And then finally, this is my favorite part, meaning this is my least favorite part. Manchin said he regularly talks with the president privately, adding that Biden's nickname for him is Jojo.
Yeah,
oh, how cute.
Stand it. I can't stand it. I
very
can't
sweet.
stand it.
It's very sweet.
Yeah.
Jojo.
No, but guys, look, there's a hero worship that you're told in the rest of the media, that these leaders are so brilliant and wonderful and honorable. President Biden refers to Joe Manchin as Jojo. They're simpletons. I mean, everybody in Washington will be just aghast. I'll be persona non grata forever and ever for saying that Biden's a simpleton. Jojo? Jojo, like, you think you're negotiating with a buddy? You think this is corn pop? No, the guy runs on corporate donations. Calling him Jojo isn't gonna help with the fundamentals of politics at all. In fact, it's the reason why I'm so disgusted by it is because it lets you into the mindset a little bit. I think he thinks they're actually buddies.
Yeah,
they're actually friends, and that they're good. Hey, should we go to Denny's or should we go to McDonald's? Hey, we'll negotiate over it in good faith. No, there's somebody paying him to make sure those things do not go in the bill. Do you not? And I guess they don't understand it. I mean, or they're all like cartoonishly evil. But I don't think Joe Biden is evil. I think he's really not that bright. I mean, all that corporate money he took his whole life. And he's still like, well, no, I mean, look, I just happen to coincidentally do everything they asked. But I mean, hey, that's just JoJo and Bobby and Susu, right? Oh, come on, man. This is just, all of it is disgusting. And the rest of the Washington media goes along with it like, oh my God, let's see, Biden's a deal maker. He calls him JoJo. You're all children, children. Okay, so now let's get to reality. Now, when Sinema and Manchin say, we will not reverse Trump's tax cuts, we will kill the rest of a bill we are pretending to like, and the other bill that we personally negotiated, the infrastructure bill, right? We'll kill them both if you raise those taxes by $1. We will not, under any circumstances, undo the Trump tax cuts. Well, what does that tell you? As a matter of definition, by fact, it means they are for the Trump tax cuts. Now, do you ever see that written anywhere? That Manchin and Sinema are wholeheartedly in favor of the tax cuts for corporations and the wealthy. Well, if you don't reverse it, you're in favor of it. And by the way, okay, you're using the excuse of Manchin and Sinema. Joe Biden, you said you were gonna reverse them. Well, okay, I know you're all obsessed with your egos. Oh, what will my legacy say? What will they say about me in the year 3000? They're not gonna say a goddamn thing about you, okay? Just do something right now for the people that live on this planet today, okay, so we can have a planet tomorrow. Well, I got news for you. They're gonna say that you agreed with Trump's tax cuts. Otherwise, you would have undone them. Oh, well, that would have been hard. Oh, would it have been hard? Well, what the hell did we elect you for? What did we elect you for? There's nothing left in this bill, guys. You guys don't understand. There's almost nothing left in it. Now, the only question is if the progressives are gonna capitulate, and that's gonna be the saddest thing I've ever seen in my life.
They will.
All right, look, one more thing here on the maternity and paternity leave that Anna pointed out. The global average, including countries that are middle class, poor, the average for the whole planet is 29 weeks. 29 weeks. We can't get 4. At the end of the day, if they're gonna pass this bill, we're gonna humiliate them until they say fine to 4 weeks, but that's gonna be the only thing left. It's gonna be the only thing left, if that, right?
The only thing, because I want to make sure we're correct in stating where we really are with this bill. For the most part, you're right. Everything's been stripped away, with one exception. I haven't seen anything so far to indicate that they're taking out universal pre-K. That's the only thing they haven't touched yet.
Again, you've explained this 100 times, Anna. It's because the corporations want it. Corporations want it. It's at the end of the day, the only thing that passes in Washington is what corporations have agreed to. We're under corporate rule. And by the way, right wing, you knuckleheads, you hate corporate rule. Every single one of your Republicans, Mitch McConnell, Mitt Romney, all of them, and Donald Trump are saying no, protect the rich, protect corporations and big business that's crushing you. You think they're on your side? We're honest about our side. Every non-progressive Democrat is 100% owned by corporations, 100%. Dude, the rest of the planet has 16 weeks of paternity leave. We can't get 4 weeks of maternity leave in this country. This country is barbaric because we live in a system that maximizes profit at all of our expense. They're gonna grind us to the very, very bone until we could barely survive, and then they'll have maximized profit.
Well, I mean, that's how the system is set up, and I think for a lot of Americans, that's already the case, which is why you're seeing it play out in what's being referred to as the Great Resignation. I mean, look, when you're talking about supply chain issues, it's not that we're having difficulty in getting products to our ports. It's just that we don't have truck drivers who are willing to take these jobs. And the reason why is because they have been mistreated, they have been underpaid. And so when we're seeing it play out in real time, just pay close attention to the way those stories are reported, because oftentimes when they're talking about inflation, when they're talking about supply chain issues, I feel like the corporate media really goes out of its way to ignore the fact that workers are standing up to what they've been dealing with, the abusive treatment for so long, and they're refusing to take these jobs. That's the real issue here. But I do want to also just point out the fact that NBC just printed a statement from Senator Joe Manchin without doing any fact checking. So he said this: I have a hard time and I'm totally out of sync with 48 other Democrats, meaning Democrats in the Senate, so totally out of sync. I love them all. And I love all the Republicans, so I'm just trying to survive in a very, very, very divided Congress in a very divided country. But hold on, is the country really divided? Congress is divided, there's no question about that. Although when it comes to corporate interests, they seem pretty unified. But when you look at American voters, regardless of what their political affiliation is, the vast majority of them find the provisions, the original provisions in Biden's Build Back Better agenda incredibly popular. They're in favor of it. Okay, 3/4 of Americans are in favor of the robust provisions. And there was a Pew Research study recently that found this: 85% of surveyed American adults said they wanted an overhaul of the country's political systems, while 66% said they wanted major changes to the US economy. Just over 3/4 of respondents said there needed to be major reform to the country's healthcare systems. So I don't know, if you actually look at the substantive issues, majority of Americans are not divided at all. The question is, why does the media pretend, or at least give off the perception that Americans are divided on these issues? They're not. They see a broken system, they want solutions. They saw Biden's proposed solutions, and rather than, supporting the best interests of their constituents, you have corporate Democrats looking out for their corporate donors and their own personal financial interests. That's it. That's what's really happening. That is the story. There's really nothing more to it at this point.
While Manchin is saying, I love the Republicans, I love them. Okay, Republicans are starting to all wear face mask that says, let's go Brandon. That's a euphemism for F Joe Biden. Ted Cruz made a video where he talked about, he mentioned let's go Brandon. The Fox News anchors are saying let's go Brandon. So while the Democrats are like, oh my beloved, the Republicans are like, F you, F you. And they're like, okay. Manchin's like, yes. Why? Because they're all same corporate dogs. They're all corporate dogs. So look, just don't listen to any of the rest of the dumbass media that never even covers the money in politics, when the entire bill is based on who's getting money from different donors. That's all of politics. That's 100% of politics. And the mainstream media covered nearly 0%. So corporate media covering and doing corporate theater for corporate politicians. You're gonna get almost nothing out of this bill. And if the progressives vote yes and then try to do marketing on top of it, they have no idea what kind of rude awakening they're in for. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.